Okay, we're ready to start the hearing for under the scenic road for 217 Newton Street. This is a scenic road hearing for anybody that is not sure what this is. The planning board reviews proposed changes in stone walls and trees in rights of way. This is what this bylaw is about. So apparently you want to change the stone wall.
Good arm exercise.
We've got some trees on Newton Street.
Yes, so my name is Catherine Weston. I'm the landscape designer for 217 Newton Street. This particular property actually is, oh thank you Jonathan, that's so kind. This particular property happens to be on two scenic roads, both Ash Street and Newton Street. It's right at the apex of the two streets. We are planning to have a renovation of the existing building. But of concern to you tonight are the two sets of walls which we are planning to change. And what I'd like to do is to actually pull out. We can hold this one just so you have a record. You can see actually on this side is Newton Street, Winter, and...
Excuse me, can we have someone close the doors, please?
Sure. So this is Newton Street here. This is Ash Street here. And here are images. This is the entrance on Ash Street. This is actually the more straightforward piece. In this particular instance, we want to alter the wall because I want to redesign the driveway so it meets landscape architectural standards. It's right now at basically 90-degree angles. It's really a very difficult thing to get in and out of this driveway. The existing driveway is shown here with the blue line, and the new driveway is basically going to take about 200 more square feet, but it is going to be functional, and it will meet the third bay that we hope to add to the building at the end of the building.
Have you not been to the zoning board of appeals yet?
No, not yet. We're doing that next month, actually. Yeah. It's a sequencing. It's been a sequencing issue. So we are really going to affect the wall very little. We are going to take the stones that are out and rebuild it. But it will have actually a turning radius here on both sides. And we will use exactly the same stones. The wall is not in terrifically good condition at this point. There is some mortar in it. It's dry in some places. And we're simply going to rebuild it with the same stones. And it will have the same rustic appearance. On that side, there is a tree that would be part of the review. That tree, as you can see, is mostly dead. And we are going to be replacing it. I have a landscape plan, which I'll show you in a minute. But on Newton Street, we would like to create some guest parking, because as you know, both these streets are pretty dangerous. You can't really park along those streets if you're having a party or guests or whatever. And we would like to open the wall and to basically, and actually you can see a detail of the wall here, to simply move the stone that exists there. It's on this side. This is a current opening, which is about 5 foot wide. Make it 15 foot wide, but leave the wall exactly in the same line. We're not connecting the existing wall to any new wall elements. Everything that is here up to this point is at grade. So we are going to have a retaining wall, which is a very small wall. Inside this area, it's about 15 inches tall. So it's and it's going to be 2 foot high at its highest point, on the outside. And this is simply to retain the space. And we will have, we would like to use antique cobbles to create an apron so the pea stone we use inside this space does not fall off. because there's a little grade drop. And this will be used intermittently for guest parking. This is really the only place where guests can park.
What's the lighting?
The lighting is just at the entrance of the house. We haven't planned any lighting at all, actually, in the courtyard.
So they're walking around on the pea stone in the dark?
Excuse me?
They're walking around on the pea stone in the dark?
Yeah, it will be firm. No high heels, exactly. The idea basically is we want it to be a pervious material, completely pervious. How many feet here to here? That is about, oh no, it's less than that. The width of this, it's about 35 feet.
No, I mean actually the whole front. From
Oh, the whole
stone wall
front.
to the front of the
Actually,
house.
yeah, it's about 43 feet.
And the parking court is going to be the house.
And the parking court is going to be, depends which part. This is about 9 feet, so about, the depth of it is 22 feet, and the width of it is 42 feet. Yeah, it's about 1,100 square feet of pea stone. Yeah.
Well, it's interesting, seeing the design is interesting. But what we're looking at is the walls.
Exactly.
And any vegetation is, trees that are in the right of way.
Yeah, and you can see those here. They are a couple of Norway maples.
Are they all in the right of way?
All of these are, yes.
They're all coming out.
They are all coming out. One very beautiful sugar maple, which is here. This is really the only worthwhile tree. We are transplanting and we are moving to the back. It's
Where is it right now?
it is right now right here. The red dots are the trees that are coming out that are sufficient size to meet the requirement. And so this tree is here, and we are going to put it in the backyard. And we are going to take the others out. They are really very mixed in terms of their health, and a couple of them are Norway maples, which we would want to get rid of. We are going to replace the trees with two good-sized magnolias, which will obviously buffer greatly this. We have some very large sugar maples that are ghosted here that basically go all along, and those are not affected. Their root areas will be very minimally affected by the construction of the courtyard.
There's some vegetation in front of the wall as well.
There is, actually, you can see it right here. It's not really much. No. It's really just some weeds and, yeah, this is it right here. This is in the summer view. I took that a couple of months ago, and this is in winter. The feeling is that aesthetically, this is a very beautiful house. And the courtyard will really help frame the view into this house in really quite an elegant way, which is consistent with its age and the axial qualities of it.
My worry about this part, the first thing that comes to my mind has to do with if someone's pulling out of that courtyard, they're not going to have good vision of either right or left of traffic.
Why wouldn't they? Because this is actually, the street is right here, so they would be able to pull up all the way here, and they would have good visibility left and right. Yeah. Yeah, the apron is, right here. So this is the actual property line. The wall is, on this side, the wall is mostly actually on the owner's property. Here, it's really a mix. It's in the right of way. But there is actually, we're talking about 6-7 feet of space, so they would be able to pull up and see what they are doing.
What's the driveway on Ash Street again? The expanded driveway?
Yeah, it's right here. It's this gray outline.
No, how wide is it at the street?
It is 15 foot.
And what is the opening now?
It's the same. It's pretty much, it's probably about 14 feet. maybe 1 foot less.
Because you're just changing the walls.
We are really changing the shape of it. So it's more functional. Right now, it's really not.
It's more like more than a foot, Catherine. I mean,
Well,
look at
it's
the
right
scale
here.
of it.
It's actually here to here.
That's the existing.
This is the existing, and this is the new. It's really only about a foot difference. You can look at it.
What's the scale?
It should say right on top.
Yeah. Isn't all of this
Yeah,
additional?
but the purple here is the existing. This line.
Are you just shifting it over?
We are shifting it over really to make it more functional and to work, with the new design of the house.
Yeah, planning board comments?
Yeah, I mean, not only is this a major scenic road, it's really a scenic gateway into town with those two roads intersecting and the rotary and Case Estates and all that. And I just think that tripling the size of the opening on Newton Street in addition to what you're doing on Ash is just too much, and I would be against changing the size of the opening at all.
So where would you suggest guests park?
Well, it's a problem everywhere. They squeeze onto the shoulder of the road.
How big would you say the apron is? This area?
This apron?
The apron sort of around the.
Oh, that apron is 2 foot wide.
I'm sorry, I don't mean that. I mean, if cars were to park, in other words, on the street, is the apron enough?
It's about 7 feet. Yeah. It's about 7 feet.
7 feet.
Can I just clarify, the entrance, I'm Alice Selvig, I'm the abutter at 233 Ash Street. My house is in that plan right next to it. The entrance on Newton Street is not currently a driveway. That is a stone step, so it's not.
Yeah, we
Five
didn't
foot
say.
over.
feet.
It's a slab.
Yeah, we didn't
Right.
say it was a
No, I
driveway.
didn't say it either. I just
We
wanted
have
to
a
make sure
picture
that
of
it's clear
it
that
right
there wasn't a
here.
driveway.
Right.
I have great concerns about these scenic road stone walls being moved at all. Part of the reason this whole area received designation from the Department of the Interior as a, Pam, what's the exact term for this?
It's a National Register District.
National Register District was because it included stone walls just like these.
It's
And I
just
would-
on
I
the
would
edge of it.
Submit to the commission that if we were to allow everybody to build bigger driveways for the sake of occasional guests, we wouldn't have any stone walls. On the rear portion on Ash Street, the home was owned by an 87-year-old lady who I hope is still alive. She was wonderful. And she had no problem whatsoever backing her car into her driveway and getting into her garage. So I would submit to you that if Mrs. Dussault could do that, I'm sure the new owners who are much younger and much more energetic without having to disturb an historic stone wall. Another consideration on Newton Street is that in the traffic study that was done for Case's Corner, it was shown that during peak hours there is considerable traffic there. You're looking at a rate of 1 car every 12 seconds coming down Newton Street. So not only would it not make sense from a scenic standpoint, but also for public safety reasons should be allowed.
It would seem parking then would be even a bigger issue, that you are really presenting a danger to people trying to park on the street. Is that busy?
Well, you work on Newton Street, right? I agree with not a lot of parking on Newton Street, but I think Ash Street, which is a little quieter, it seems to be, I drove by today and kind of both looked at all angles.
Exactly.
And I did think that you could probably, and it looked to me like people had parked on Ash Street, so that there was space for people to park to pull off on Ash. Newton, forget that.
We just had friends over for the Landsake harvest dinner.
Yeah,
Very easy
yeah,
to
it looked
park.
like
There
that
was
was,
no problem whatsoever.
and there weren't signs around saying no parking on this street,
No.
like that on Sudbury Road or some of the other streets.
And, everybody around here is fairly good at avoiding parked cars on the shoulder. People who have guests just do that. I think it's a heavy price to pay for occasional parking.
Would a smaller opening meet with your approval? Would have an opening that's, let's say, 10 feet, which would still allow cars to come in, be a better alternative?
You mean on Ash Street, perhaps?
No, on Newton Street.
Yeah,
It just, that really, Catherine, I'm sorry, I mean, I can kind of see where you're going with this in
Yeah.
terms of trying to maybe, make this open. But that's such a small instance, it's 40 feet, you're taking up a big chunk of it, with maybe not hard surface pavement, but certainly a very different texture than lawn or green.
Which wouldn't be visible from the street actually because of the plantings.
I'm just not sure that it's worth that much change in that landscape to park.
Catherine, I think what you're hearing is sort of unanimous reaction on the part of the board. Everybody feels the same way. It's not a criticism of your design.
No, I don't take it as such,
It's the
absolutely not.
concept that we're just having a problem with that front driveway and that in the parking area in the front. The Ash Street driveway,
I can see the reason for that because, it's such a sharp right angle.
Oh,
and I had to
on
move
both
that
sides.
same triangle driveway, so I could actually get that within, maybe you were softening it up a little bit with more of a trumpet to get out. But still,
that would
that was a
actually.
little less.
yeah, I agree. I think we go on to the Ash Street, the Newton one, I just,
Are there other comments from the audience?
I'm aware of 229 Ash Street, and I only say that, it's a pretty good sized driveway, similar to ours. We seem to have plenty of room for guests, and we seem to get in and out every morning and every evening without an issue.
Mine is narrow.
And it's the same size. In fact, I would submit that ours is a little bit more dangerous because you're coming uphill, where there they probably have better visibility. Clearly, they have better visibility. So I'm not sure I have a full appreciation for the request.
They're not actually widening it that much.
Yeah.
They're just moving it.
I see.
So they're moving the opening. They're widening it. What they're saying is that it would be a foot wider. But so it's not going to be a lot wider.
Yeah, we're really shifting the space, removing the old driveway and having a new driveway that will be, more conducive to getting in and out in a functional fashion. That current driveway is really not functional.
How do you feel about the landscape without that four-foot street?
Well, I would bet you to keep that maple. That's a great street tree. The town is planting street trees as fast as it can, and to take one and stick it in the
Well,
backyard.
we were simply transplanting it because if we were to do the driveway, this courtyard, then we wanted to save that tree because it's a magnificent tree and it'd be a shame to lose it. And we have good success transplanting large trees. So that's only for that reason. I would see no reason. I would want to eliminate some of the trash trees, particularly the Norways that are in that area,
Right.
because they are exotic invasive and they actually hurt the sugar maple. But then we would, if you do not allow us to do the courtyard, obviously we would keep the sugar maple, but clean up around it so it has a better chance to become a magnificent specimen. This is a cedar. Yeah, it's in pretty bad condition. Yeah, but it's on the other side. There are some magnificent, absolutely beautiful, very old sugar maples on the other side.
The stone wall is basically the property line. The tree is being set back from the stone wall on private
Exactly.
property.
Right. Good. Okay.
May I ask for one clarifying question? On the Ash Street side, you would be rounding those corners off a little bit? Is that the idea?
Yeah. Of the stone. And we all use the same stone, simply
everybody else's driveways are squared off.
Yeah, well, I'm
Well, I
not
mean,
sure
we
I
can
know.
square it off, it doesn't make any difference,
Yeah.
as long as we have.
It's not really part of the bell, you know. for
Yeah,
getting
no,
on
no,
the
it's
street.
not. It's really more an aesthetic notion. It looks more graceful coming in, frankly, than having it squared off. On the other hand, as long as I can get my turning radius here, I'm fine, because this is where you turn, this is where you need to be able to come in. And so, no, that's,
It might be a little bit self-conscious, you know, as Alex said, all the other openings in those stone walls
we
are
can
just
keep it
straight
at an
open.
angle. It's not really a big deal. The wall, it really does need some work. It is, I took some closer up pictures, and it is failing in some places. And but it's very straightforward to rebuild it, and it will look exactly as if it's always been there.
You know,
Well,
sometimes that's
I
true.
have a track record.
She's
Come
got a
on,
good
you
track
guys
record.
know me.
You know you. She's got a good track record.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Any other comments? No? Good. All right. Then I think we're all set. Thank you, Ken.
Can you summarize what we're all set with?
Yeah,
We're saying no to the wider opening on Newton Street. We're saying okay to shifting the driveway, you know, towards Newton Street on Ash Street, but not widening it more than about this much. We're not okay with the stone walls that sweep in. We're saying okay,
Yeah.
okay to just having the walls stop on either side of the driveway, just like all the other houses on the street. Where the big maple that's now on Newton Street is going to stay
It's
on
going to
Newton
stay
Street.
there. Yeah.
Okay.
Are there other trees of significant caliber, I guess is the term, that should be retained on that scenic road?
She says they're
No, they are
they're
not.
Norway maples, which are
The sugar maple is, I think, a 14 or 15 inch. So it's still a young tree, but it has tons of potential. Yeah. There's a magnolia, which is has one basic big branch, and then a couple of Norway maples. It's just, you know, it will be great for the sugar maple, actually, to not have that competition.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we're set at home too. See you later. Will do.